and welcome to the Hot Keys podcast. This is Mick, your host, and joining me is...
Oh, I jumped the gun. Wil.
And Landon Browning.
And David Parker.
Oh, Wil Dobratz. I forgot my last name. Wil Dobratz.
Oh, that's very important.
Oh, man, that was sarcastic.
No, it wasn't.
Will, you have to warn us when you're going to be sarcastic. We have to know.
Dude, that line. I was like, oh, man, this is too much.
So we all died, and we are now alive again. So now we are doing a podcast again.
Yeah.
Yep.
We had a
busy, or some of us had some busy 2 weeks where we weren't really super free.
Yeah.
Is there anything special about this episode, Mick?
It's March 12th.
It means it's March.
Yeah. Come on, Dave. It's March 12th.
Anything
It's a
else special about this episode?
It's a Saturday.
Okay.
It's our Batman spoiler cast.
Yeah, Batman
The
spoiler
Batman!
cast. Oh yeah, sorry, the Batman spoiler cast. We're gonna start by rating the movie first, out of 7 bats.
No, I don't think we will.
Can we give half a bat?
Yes.
Like, is that a possible thing, or is it just dead, so it wouldn't count as half a bat?
I mean, half a bat is still half a bat.
Yep.
Yeah, but it's dead, so it's not really.
They have to be alive.
All the bats are
I mean,
dead, actually.
Fair enough.
In the rating scale,
Oh.
they're all not
Dead
living
bats.
bats. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Does it matter which half the bat, like the upper
Okay,
half, the lower
Mick,
half?
take us
I would
away.
think vertically.
I think it'd be a horizontal.
So we're rating it?
We're gonna
No,
just
I was
score it.
joking. We don't have to do that. We don't have
I
to
mean,
do
we
that.
could.
We could do spoiler-free impressions and then a rating.
Nah, let's just spoil it.
Okay.
Spoil.
Okay.
Spoiler
Warning,
alert
spoilers.
for
Warning.
the Batman.
They catch the Riddler.
Yeah, Paul Dano, very scary.
Yeah, this movie was incredible. I thought it was very, very good. It definitely surpassed my expectations,
Which is saying a lot, right?
which is saying a lot. It is now my favorite superhero movie
Oh, wow. Dang.
of all time.
Dang.
Bigger than the second Fantastic Four movie, Rise of the Silver Surfer.
Oh, I forgot about them.
All right, so
It's my
second.
second favorite superhero movie.
Yeah, so my previous favorite was Batman Begins, but now
I'm seeing a theme
The
here.
Batman.
the Batman.
It's Batman.
What's the theme, Dave? What is it? Tell me.
Bats.
What
half
is
a bat. Dead bats.
Dead bats.
So yeah, I really liked the movie a lot, and I've seen it 4 times.
Oh my God.
Holy
And I'll
smokes.
probably be seeing it. I'll probably be seeing it more because it's that good.
That's so much time. It's a long movie.
Yeah.
It is a very
like
it's
three
a
hours.
biggie boy movie.
I have no life after I'm off of work, so
You just go to Batman every
I
night
just
after
go to the
work.
Batman, and it's comforting.
It's like a
I
part-time
think my
job.
thoughts. I liked the movie a lot. It's now my favorite Catwoman rendition on screen.
Oh, easily, yeah,
Favorite Riddler. I mean, not much to
easily,
beat.
yeah.
But
Better than Danny DeVito.
well, I mean, Paul Dano's a great actor.
Danny
I don't
DeVito.
feel
Oh,
like
I thought you
I've
said Penguin.
Oh,
Sorry.
I was like, what? I was like,
Cut that
better than
out.
Jim Carrey. Like,
Paul Dano's great. I'm a big fan of Jeffrey Wright. So
Yeah,
Oh,
he-
dang it. I was going to
Gordon.
ask Will who played Commissioner Gordon.
Still say Forrest Whitaker.
I should have seen that one coming. I did not.
Did you see
Gosh,
that
dang
coming?
it.
I think this is probably my favorite universe, like a Batman universe. Like the world itself was really interesting.
Yeah.
I do, though, this might be controversial. I do think the movie's too long. I thought, like, and maybe on another viewing, I'll
What'd
think
you say?
differently. But
Peasant.
I kind of
Common
lost,
folk.
like, for a little bit, it kind of lost me. Like the last 30 minutes, I was like, okay, like, why is like this? Like, why is it still going? Like, it felt like I just like kept like, okay, there's a point to end it. Like when he's like talking to like the Riddler in the interrogation room, I'm like, oh, they're like, there's like, not to get too far into the spoilers in the story, but like they're like setting it up like this
We're
big
spoiling
twist.
it.
That, yeah, I know, but like I feel like I'm getting ahead of it a little bit. But
No, it's
there's this playing
Talk
with
about-
this
talk
thing when
about
he's
whatever
in
you
it
want.
when he's in his apartment. They're setting it up to like maybe the Riddler knows who Bruce Wayne is,
Mhm.
and there's this like whole like it feels really claustrophobic and like Bruce Wayne's like this might Like he like looks at Gordon, he's like, this might be all ending. Like he realizes like it might all be coming down. And I was like, I'm like, oh shoot, is this just gonna be a one-off movie that ends with like him being revealed, like his identity, and he like goes to prison or something? And then he goes to the prison cell and it's also building towards it, and then it's just like, oh, he doesn't know at all, and he's just obsessed with Batman, like he typically is in the comics, right? And then it like just keeps going for like this whole new terrorist plot that like I don't feel like it had been hinted at much at all. Maybe I missed it, but then it felt like it had like the almost like the Return of the King thing, where it felt like it was going to end, and then it was going to keep
you
going.
just lost Dave's support.
Okay. So Landon's opinion just.
Okay, I mean, just I guess like
No, I'm joking. I actually agree with most of what you're saying. I do think the movie is a little too long. I liked the whole thing at the very end. That there was something else bigger that they was working up to. What I probably would have preferred is that they maybe just cut out a little bit of something prior to that, so that the movie was a little bit shorter. I do feel the movie was a little long, but I liked that there was some last big thing. It made the Riddler seem like he was more capable, and that there was something else that he was working on behind the scenes. And it kind of showed like how he thought the Batman was smarter too, because he thought Batman had figured it all out and that he was going to contribute to the plan. But instead it was
because we're seeing the movie. We're seeing the movie through Bruce's eyes, so we find out when he finds out.
Yeah,
that's how I saw it. So I thought it was actually,
and it could have just been too that I was like, it was late, and like the movie, like I said, it's just a long movie.
I mean, I've said that I like the movie. It's my favorite superhero movie now. The movie is long.
Yeah.
I definitely understand that being a complaint. To me, I thought everything about the length was like it fit, but I can understand when people say it's long. I mean, it is a long movie.
Yeah, it's a long movie, but I feel like it's justified because it never feels like it drags on. It's always like there's always something going on, and it's always going to the next thing, in my opinion. And for me, I think that I don't know. I would say it's my favorite Batman film. I would say it's actually probably my favorite superhero film. I would agree with Michael. I think it's so different than anything that's been done before with Batman or a superhero film in general. And this is maybe coming off like the high of seeing it for the first time, because I wish I could watch the movie for the first time again, but it's so different and it's so refreshing because it's a detective thriller in like almost mixed with a superhero film, but it's not actually quite a superhero film traditionally. It's more of a detective thriller than anything. And I absolutely love that about it. It was more like a thriller than anything.
It feels like Seven. Like it
feels like Seven. Yeah, it feels like
I haven't seen Seven.
It's a pretty good movie.
See Seven.
Yeah. Like, and the movie's not without its faults, but the personal enjoyment I got out of it was kind of unmatched with any superhero film I've seen before.
Yeah.
And I think that the most amazing part about this film is the cinematography.
Oh,
absolutely.
It is one of the best looking movies I've seen.
There are so many shots and so many like just how it's directed to is just it's phenomenal. Like the way it uses sound and the score. Oh, Michael, like that main Batman theme when it builds, when
boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, that one. That is probably the best Batman theme ever.
Well, I think it is because it's a good balance of like what Danny Elfman did in the Tim Burton films, which was like very like over the top and like theatrical and a little more like out there.
Yeah.
And then you get like Hans Zimmer's score, which is I still love. It's very good, but it's very like very simple, very like not messing around. It knows what it is.
It's like two notes, right?
Simply put, yes, it is.
Like you can recognize it from two notes.
Yeah. But Michael Giacchino's score, I think, is a good balance between that because it's simple, but it's also like I think more theatrical and more out there than Hans Zimmer's score is.
The shot where Batman's walking, like
when it's upside down.
It's upside down.
Yeah.
That's one of the coolest shots ever.
Yeah.
But as far as the length goes, to add to what Dave and Landon were saying, I didn't really have a problem with it. I found myself like entertained the whole time. I did talk to Michael after I saw the film, and because we saw it together, And I did like the only one of the minor complaints I had about it was the climax kept faking a climax. Does that make sense?
Well, like what Landon said.
What Landon was saying, where it's like it goes up and then it goes like kind of back and then it goes up again. It's like, oh, is this it? No. Oh, is this it? No. Oh, and is this it? And it feels like it does that a little too much, but it's really a super minor gripe. And I haven't seen it twice, so I would need to see it again to kind of refine my opinion more. But so far, it's like it's above and beyond any kind of. It's in a tier of its own for me. I
don't want to come off like I was hating. I hope I didn't come off like I was hating on it too much because I really liked the movie.
Yeah,
Nick would have kicked you out of your own house if that happened. So.
I think it was just it was like on a weeknight and I was already tired and I was like I got like a 7 p.m. showtime, so like towards the end of the movie it was like past 10.
Yeah, I would say see it earlier. When you're more energetic.
So I do want to see it again. I don't know if I'll see it again in theaters, but if I do, it'll be on like a weekend at like noon or something.
Yeah.
So probably was just I was tired, and then it like you said, it kept feeling like kind of like this is the big build up, and then there's another 15 minutes, and then like okay, there's that. Like, but I am like I said, everything, the world building. Well, even like his tech that he uses is so much cooler than any of the other movies.
I don't know if you guys have seen the animated series, but it feels a lot more like that, where it kind of feels like it's in the 20s, but it feels present time. Like you don't know exactly when it takes place. And a lot of the, like you were saying, his tech, it felt kind of old fashioned, like printing out stuff and paperwork. But then he also had like the contact lenses that are like very like futuristic.
Yeah.
So I kind of liked that feel of Gotham itself. I think it was the best Gotham that we've got. It felt like
scummy. It felt really
grungy and scummy and just like lived in. I love that it rained the whole time. Yeah. I think that's kind of a big part of the comics where Gotham is just like a crap hole.
Yeah, it feels like a fictional. Like it feels like Gotham, not like it doesn't feel like you watch. Not to hate it, like I really like the Dark Knight trilogy, but that just feels like a city. It just feels like a normal.
Yeah,
like,
well, so Batman Begins, I think, did Gotham the best with like the Narrows and stuff. But the later movies felt more like, oh, this is just Chicago,
especially the Dark Knight Rises.
It's New York.
Yeah, especially the Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah. I mean, there were specific reasons why they made those changes, but to me, I always liked Gotham feeling more like it does in the Batman, where it's like, it's always just crap, just terrible.
Yeah, the level of corruption too.
Yeah,
displayed in the movie is like a lot better.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I like that. Like it's a younger year. Like it's his second year of being Batman. So like even when he comes across like the group of goons or whatever that are beating up that guy, they're like, "Who are you?" Like they don't even they don't really even know who the Batman is.
Well, and he's not perfect either. He makes flaws. He's kind of sloppy in his fighting and then in his detective work, which we can talk about a little bit later. But I've, as much as I think the Dark Knight Returns is like one of the best Batman comics, I've always liked a more younger Batman Bruce Wayne. I just think there's more there to tell than with an older grizzled Batman.
Do you like Year One then, or?
Oh, Year One is so good. It also has an animated movie, which is really good. But yeah, this film, it took a lot of inspiration from Year One. There's a Batman comic called Batman Ego, which is really good. I recommend reading that. Let's talk the cast. The cast was, I think, the best cast Batman stuff we've got. Colin Farrell as the Penguin was
unrecognizable.
Unrecognizable, and just like he was like the perfect amount of like comedic relief that we needed in this type of movie, because otherwise I think the movie would have been a little more bogged down and
the movie's pretty dark.
It's too dark. But he gave that perfect amount of like comedy without feeling like Marvel comedy. Like it just felt like perfect for the world that they were in. I think Robert Pattinson is incredible.
Awesome. Yeah.
I'm really annoyed with people that are still like, ooh, Twilight Boy, blah, blah, blah. But he's done like so much stuff between that.
Yeah.
And you can tell in this movie he loses himself in the character.
Yeah.
And some complaints I've heard about his portrayal of Bruce Wayne is that he feels the same as Batman, and there's not, he's not the Playboy.
I'm still waiting for them to do
like
the Playboy.
But it's
Bruce
like
Wayne.
that's not where he is in his character. He's not there yet. I mean, he's said that like he doesn't care about his Bruce Wayne stuff. He doesn't care about Wayne Enterprises really. Yeah. He's just full mode Batman mind, which
yeah, and it feels like we never even saw like Bruce Wayne in this movie, right? So we've seen like it was always like the Batman side of Bruce Wayne, if that makes sense. Which goes to show, like, I'm just agreeing with you basically, is that like even at the funeral, which is the only place that we've seen Bruce Wayne make a public appearance, right? Yeah. Pretty much. Maybe when he visited Falcone. So there was two public appearances. They both were more on the edge of Batman than they were Bruce Wayne in a public setting.
Yeah, and like I said, it's deliberate, and I think Robert Pattinson plays it really well, where you can tell he's just uncomfortable as Bruce Wayne. Mm-hmm. Like he's much more himself when he's wearing the Batman suit. So I really like that aspect. I didn't have a problem with that at all.
It feels like a complaint about something that's not there, which is really interesting.
Yeah.
It's always hard.
Like I could understand the complaint if he's trying to play the Playboy side, but he's not. That's not what the character is doing right now.
Yeah, and it's not even written as part of like the world right now. So I totally agree with you.
Yeah, so I think moving forward we'll probably see more of that. I think there was a very good Batman and Bruce Wayne arc in this movie that we'll see more, probably that type of stuff later in later movies. So yeah, I think Robert Pattinson is, I think, the best Batman we've got, best Bruce Wayne. I love his portrayal. It's so
raw.
Yeah. It's so good. I liked Andy Serkis as Alfred, but I feel like there wasn't that much of him in there.
Yeah, I was a little bummed.
When he wasn't, I think he's really good, but yeah, there just wasn't a lot of him. But at the same time, I don't think the story like the story wasn't supposed to have more of him in there, if that makes sense. But I still would have liked to see more of him.
I thought the movie was going to be a little more focused on, because there's kind of like this sub arc about him being the father figure of Bruce, and Bruce like realizing that in the movie. I don't know if maybe I just wanted more of that, or I thought it was going to be more important, but I wanted more of that relationship in the movie. That it wasn't as there I thought as I thought it could have been. But I did like Andy Serkis as
Alfred. Yeah. I think the payoff was good though, with Alfred almost dying. I liked their talk in the hospital, and like the whole time that their conversation was going, I was like, Bruce, just grab his hand. Just grab his hand. So I was glad when that actually happened. I thought that was cool. It was a cool moment.
How come the Riddler worked so hard to try to kill the other three guys, and then with Bruce he just sent him a bomb?
I don't know.
See, I think
you trying to find a plot hole or something here.
No, man? I was just wondering. It's like he didn't care as much about killing Bruce. Like,
part of me thinks that it's so the whole scene where he's saying Bruce Wayne. I think that you can see that in multiple different ways. I think that it's left kind of open where the Riddler might actually think Batman is Bruce Wayne, because the fact that the bomb didn't kill him. And also, I think Bruce Wayne out of all of them was probably the hardest to get to, because he's such a recluse.
Well, he doesn't make public appearances.
He doesn't make public, to the public's eye, he's always just in his tower. So I think that's why. But I think also after that, why he didn't try is because he might know that Bruce Wayne is Batman.
Do you think he thinks that?
I think it's possible. I think the movie kind of leaves it open to interpretation.
So I'm asking, what's your interpretation then?
I don't know. part of me thinks that he doesn't know, and then the more I think about it, maybe he does know. I don't know.
I don't think he knows. That's my take. I don't think he knows. Because it sounded like he really hated Bruce Wayne, and he's obsessed with Batman. So, I don't know. I've only seen the movie once, so you might have a better.
Yeah. Before we move on to like more like concrete spoilers, I don't think we ever heard your like opinion, Dave, on like what you thought of the movie.
I liked the movie. I don't know if I liked it as much as everyone else did. I did think it was a little too long. I liked a lot of the like gothic stuff. Yes, I liked all the false ends.
Dave's like, no, I have to hate myself now.
I don't know how I'd necessarily rate it against other superhero movies, but there were some scenes as much as I liked and just talked about this, like liking the Alfred Batman scene, there were some moments of dialogue I thought were kind of weird, and the weirdest one that stood out to me was when Batman was talking or when Bruce was talking to Andy Serkis in the hospital. I'd probably need to watch it again, but it just seemed kind of odd. I don't know. It's like,
what was odd about it?
And
I'll tell you why you're wrong.
Not that it's almost like it was kind of cheesy, but not quite there.
You're making Mick angry. You're making him angry.
I think I just went because up until that point, I thought the movie so far had been like pretty good. And I was enjoying it, but some of the dialogue there I thought it missed the mark of maybe what was supposed to happen versus
like what?
I don't know. It just seemed kind of cheesy. It seemed like kind of a cheesy moment. Some of the stuff he was saying.
What was cheesy?
I liked how dark the movie was, though. I thought that was great. I did like the portrayal of the city. I thought
like
at the
literally dark or like figuratively?
Both.
Okay.
Take your sunglasses off.
I thought at the end it was another one of those like the big ending was a little too much, like practically flooding the entire city. I don't think I necessarily wanted something that was so crazy, but you know, it
would have been kind of cool if they just killed the mayor, like the new mayor.
Yeah. It was kind of like over the top with how crazy the final Riddler's final plan was. I don't think it needed to be that overboard for it to have the same kind of effect that they wanted to have on the audience. So in that sense, it kind of made me just think of all those other type of movies where there's this huge big issue at the end. Like it makes me think of like Star Trek. Was it the second Star Trek movie where it's like all this destruction and stuff? I mean, I thought it was maybe a little overboard for how grounded the movie felt at that point. But
are you talking about Wrath of Khan or
he's talking about Into Darkness
and Into Darkness? Not as crazy as like Man of Steel or or anything.
Yeah, I actually think it's like it was the perfect amount of like, oh crap, this is like a big issue for the world that they built, because it wasn't like, you know, world ending. It wasn't a nuclear blast that, you know, is threatening to destroy the city. It was something that was set up where Gotham was, you know, they had these sea walls. It was something that's believable.
I mean, it demonstrates how fragile Gotham is as a literal city, that like all it takes is just a couple vans filled with explosives to completely flood the whole city. So
yeah.
I think that
I like that it.
I think the thing. Okay.
Go ahead.
I think that the movie was pretty grounded at that point, and when it got too close to the end of the movie, you had to just suspend a little bit of disbelief. And because I thought the movie had done such a good job up to that point where you didn't have to do a lot of that, it just kind of it affects it a little bit. But
I think flooding is a pretty grounded like.
I meant to the extent that it affects the city, like. You know, not to say that doesn't happen. I mean, you know, like you've seen like 2005.
But when a city
Katrina
is below sea level, that's what would happen.
Yes.
What wouldn't it?
Yes, if a city's below sea level and water rushes in, then it floods the whole city.
So what's the problem?
It just seemed like it was a bit much. That's all I'm saying. Like it was a bit much.
He was saying that everything else in the movie was like
the rest
pretty
of the movie.
low stakes, like grounded, like, you know, it felt like 7 up to that point,
and then it went to like 20,000,
like action. Yeah.
Oh. No.
I
guess agree to disagree. I thought it was like in perfect line with how real the world felt, and it was like I said, it's a big enough issue where it's not like aliens that come in and destroy everything. It's like a practical thing that the Riddler could have done to like destroy
He had his
the city.
his alt-right, like,
Yeah, his message
shutting people
board,
down.
his
Yeah.
4chan people.
Yeah, 4chan.
Oh gosh.
I did
tips on the detonators.
Yeah, I did really like how they had all the guys up there had like cables so they wouldn't fall.
Yeah.
Which seemed practical for that, and then also justified like Batman knocking them off and they weren't, falling to their death.
Yeah.
I kind of thought that was a neat way to get around that he would be totally murdering everybody up there.
Well, it also demonstrates that they weren't just like super stupid, people, that they at least had some semblance of a plan. I do think they should have tried to plan maybe to shoot him in the head instead of just always shooting him in the chest, but what can you do?
Yeah, that's like bulletproof.
He
armor,
gets
and
shot
they
so
put
many
his,
times
like,
this
entire
movie, and
face.
every single time it's like just pretty much in the chest.
Well, they look at his face and they're like, there's no way that that's just his face. I'm going to shoot him in the chest.
Maybe they're just so terrified, so horrified by the bat that they like all they can do is just aim for center mass. So
Yep. I mean, that's where you should aim.
I like the entrance. I like the whole beginning of the movie, the beginning sequence where it kind of shows all these people that all these like crimes that are in the city, and then he shows up to help out with one of them. So
it's such a good open. And
yeah, I like the opening a
specifically
lot.
with like the Riddler was
that part.
so creepy and just so well done. How he's like just behind the mayor the whole time.
Well, I like how he's all quiet and then he's like,
I really liked Wayne. I really liked Wayne Manor, and like the Gothic architecture of his tower. I thought that was really cool. It was the most like Gothic Batman building basically that we've seen in pretty much any Batman movie. I would say.
I mean, I would say it's not as Gothic as the Tim Burton stuff. I think it's more Gothic than the Dark Knight trilogy, but I don't know. Have you seen the Burton movies?
Not recently. I've seen them, but not recently.
Yeah, I think those are a lot more of that, but I did like that too. I think the Gothic element in Batman is needed.
I think it services
his
character a lot. And then there was one other thing. I Will kind of touched on this, but I liked the movie was essentially just a detective movie, and Batman was like a good detective, and so that was
actual
fun.
detective.
Yeah, he was an actual detective. So that was
like, I'm gonna shoot bullets into this brick, and then magically I'll know what's going on. I still don't know what happens in that scene.
Ballistics.
That scene still confuses me.
It's just ballistics. Ballistics.
Which scene?
Okay, so in
Is this the Dark Knight?
In the Dark Knight, he visits that crime scene where there's some people dead, and it's shown that the Joker is targeting, I think, the mayor. And he goes over to the wall, and there's a bullet hole in the wall. And Gordon's like, "Oh, what do you do? Ballistics?" And he's like, "Fingerprints." And he cuts the part of the wall out. And then cut to the Batcave, and he's shooting bullets into specific bricks, and then he takes the brick that he had from the crime scene and he goes up and he like holds it up to each one, and then he takes that brick. But like, what's the point of doing that? He's just trying to get the fingerprints off the bullet from the crime scene.
I don't know.
That's a good question.
Like that.
Don't question that.
That's always confused me. I don't know what's going on there.
Dave, do you have an answer?
He reverse engineers the shooting of the gun, and then he reconstructs
so Dave doesn't
the digital
know.
Trying
bullet
to find
and
the
then,
correct angle at
and
which
then-
it was shot. I don't know.
Because his end game there is just getting the fingerprints off the bullet from the crime scene. So what is having shooting other bullets and other random bricks having to do with getting the fingerprint off a completely different thing? I don't know. It doesn't make sense.
I think the purpose of it was to like
Yeah, that movie sucks.
it was to try to like make it look like he's reverse engineering the thumbprint from ballistics by having like enough shots, but in actuality that's not possible. But if you don't think about it too much, it's like, oh, cool. But once you start thinking about it, you're like, that doesn't work.
Well, and also your fingerprint would be on the shell, not the bullet.
Well, maybe it like grazed the tip.
Just the tip. Anyway, so back to the Batman. Yes, I agree. I think actually seeing him as a detective is such a breath of fresh air, and I don't know why it's taken so long to do a Batman movie like correctly like this.
Yeah, I just wish we had more detective movies in general. Like, what detective movies come out in the past? Like, I don't know.
Knives Out.
Yeah,
Knives Out.
That was great. I love Knives
Death
Out.
on the Nile.
The Nice
Haven't
Guys.
seen Death on the
Nice
Nile.
Guys. That's kind of
Haven't seen Nice
Nice
Guys.
Guys.
Well, maybe I just don't watch them.
Murder on the Orient Express. I think they're out there, Will. You're just not supporting them.
Yeah.
Yikes.
I think the relationship between Batman and Gordon was like, it was done the best in this movie. They
But
felt
cops.
so much like a Sherlock and Watson team, which I thought was really good. Yeah,
The line where he says like, "You could have at least pulled your punch," and he's
I
like,
did. Thumb drive.
I like when he uses like his wingsuit, like he flies kind of, and he just like dies.
Eats it.
I'm like that's one of the things where it's like, yeah, you're dead in real life.
he
No matter
he would've
how
been dead. Yeah, he
like,
would've been dead.
I know that you're not going for like 100% realism in any kind of superhero film, but like, yeah, you're dead there. You're just dead.
Yeah.
Your spine is
Your
broken.
brain
Your neck is
watermelons.
just destroyed. Yeah. You're, like, you'd be in pieces all over the floor.
But he's Batman.
Yeah.
He can't.
There are no flaws in this movie.
Yeah.
Other cast stuff, because Mick, you were kind of going through the cast.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Zoe Kravitz. I think Landon said this earlier. Best Catwoman by far.
I think we
She
should
was
just
like,
devote time to have Landon talk about Catwoman for like 5 to 10 minutes. Actually,
No.
I don't want to be creeped out.
No, she was good.
Yeah, she was like ripped straight out from Batman Year One. She was done so well.
Mm-hmm.
Just compared to like Anne Hathaway's portrayal, like, which in my opinion I did not like in The Dark Knight
Yeah,
Rises.
the more I think about her portrayal, the more I'm not that much of a fan. I think she's still good, but Zoe Kravitz just feels so much more like Selena Kyle in the comics, more Catwoman-y.
Yeah.
my favorite line is with Catwoman and Batman, where he goes, "You got a lot of cats."
You got to think about strays. And see that type of stuff. Like, there's enough like comedic elements in the movie where
That was good levity.
it just feels like natural. So I appreciated that.
That might be my favorite line from the whole movie. That might be like a dumb favorite line, but I just thought it was funny.
That's pretty good.
So yeah, Zoe Kravitz was amazing. We talked about Colin Farrell.
Paul Dano,
Oh gosh, he was so good. Paul
Yeah,
Dano.
we got to talk about Paul
Paul
Dano.
Dano
Best.
is like,
he's so creepy.
he was born to play a Batman villain.
Yeah.
He's born to
he's
just
one
play
of the
every
best.
villain.
He was so good in the movie.
I don't know if I've seen him like give a bad performance in any film.
No, I don't.
No, he does a bad performance in every movie because he's always a bad guy.
Has
Has he actually? Has he been like a good guy really, or
He's not really a bad guy in Looper.
Night and Day, he was a good guy.
I haven't seen that one.
Fun
It's a fun movie.
movie.
Looper, he's just a guy.
He's just a guy.
doesn't he die like
What
horribly?
Oh, dude, what happens? To his
He doesn't
character?
just die.
He gets- what happens to him? His character is not cool. That's like one of the grossest things I've ever
He
seen.
disappears.
Yeah.
In a horrible way.
Dude, when like the older version, he's like,
Gosh, that's disturbing.
I wish we did get more of his face, like because I think his face contributes to his creepiness. Like, no offense,
yeah.
Paul Dano, if you're listening to this, but you have a good creepy face for creepy characters. So that is one thing that was kind of a bummer about him, is that for most of the movie we just get him with his mask. So,
But he does so much with his voice.
He does,
like,
yeah.
His voice
He
is
does.
like so. There's something like childish about his voice, and I think that adds to the creepiness.
well, he
the
does
creep
kind of have like
value.
that man-child syndrome, like.
Yeah,
so okay, what's his creepiest performance? There Will Be Blood, Prisoners, or The Batman?
Maybe Prisoners. Prisoners is
He's
too
creepy as
realistic.
F in that movie. Like, he is so creepy.
yeah. I guess like how that movie ends, though, you don't really feel
Well, spoilers.
No, I want to see it. I want to see it. I want to see Prisoners.
Okay.
No spoilers. It's on my list.
Well, you should probably watch it because that came out in 2013.
Well, I'm just saying.
Almost 10 years ago.
Another detective movie, kind of like
Prisoners is really
Prisoners
is really good.
Where can I watch it? I'm trying to find it.
you could like pay probably $3 on Amazon.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Hulu. It's on Hulu.
Okay.
Do you not have Hulu, Will?
Not anymore.
I guess you'll
I
never
wasn't
watch
using
it.
Yep.
Dang.
I'm going to spoil it now.
No.
Yeah, so he was, like I said, just amazing in the movie. He did such a good job. He was creepy. He was believable. And I like how the whole time he thinks that like he and Batman are a team. Like that was so creepy. Like
His delusion.
We did this together,
Really
and yeah,
I
laid it all out for you.
last main.
That's not how it's supposed to go.
Last main cast would probably be John Turturro as
John
Carmine
Turturro,
Carmine
Falcone.
Falcone.
Oh,
You know, Monk's brother
Yeah.
from Monk.
all right. Another
guy-
detective
or
show
the guy
I
that
haven't
gets-
watched.
the guy that gets robot peed on in Transformers.
Or the Jesus from The Big Lebowski.
Yep.
Or any.
He also stars in an HBO miniseries called The Night of.
Isn't he also in
Oh, Brother, Where Art Thou? He's one of
Brother
the.
Where Art Thou?
Yeah, one of the three.
Oh, Brothers.
Anyway, he was really good as Carmine Falcone. I thought
toad.
he doesn't
It's
generally play
Falcone.
like he
It's
doesn't generally.
Falcone in this
Okay,
movie.
he doesn't generally play like
It's
villains
Falcone.
okay, he doesn't generally play villains like too much, I would say. But I thought he did a really good job as this kind of uber villain,
Crime boss.
crime boss guy.
Yeah. Yeah, he was creepy.
He's the rat.
URL.
Yeah. I thought all the riddles and just the detective work that Batman and Gordon do are just it's good. Like it's not like unbelievably difficult where the audience can't follow or figure it out, but it's like still kind of tricky. So like the URL thing was like I think such a good
I probably would have got tripped up on the first riddle and then just never figured out anything.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we won.
Surprise, surprise! I would be a bad Batman.
I love the scene where in the church with Coulson
The bomber.
with the bomb around his
Yeah.
neck. I thought that was a great scene, just so intense. And again, it goes back to I love how Batman just easily answers all these riddles.
I just love when it's the third riddle. The guy's like, I can't do. I have family I care about. He's like, they'll kill you. I'm a dead man anyway.
That was actually one of the most terrifying like parts to me. That he was just like, yeah, like I'd rather die. Than,
Yeah.
like
Well, just so it shows how like corrupt
yeah,
the city is. And
yeah.
how,
It's just like, oh man,
Yeah.
like
What I want to know is like, so the first guy gets killed, right? But all these guys
holding a
keep
Pokemon
going
card?
back, like especially when it was revealed, like that there were
David about to
pictures.
duel with us.
When there were pictures of them walking into the establishment, like if I was the DA, I'd be like, I'm never going back there. But it's like days later, and he's walking in to this place. It's like if I had
no
any
security
like
or-
semblance
yeah.
of power in the city, and I saw that like there were leaks, and people knew that the mayor was going in, and that the mayor had like a side chick and stuff, I'd be staying away from that secret bar for at least a while. But
Criminals are stupid, Dave.
I guess.
Dude, they gotta.
But this is the DA.
They got an itch.
They drop
up.
heads. They just they
that
just
drip.
needed their fix.
Yeah.
drip drop.
Yeah.
Drip dropping away. Gosh, what else? The Batmobile was. I
Wait,
love
but
that
there's one
Batmobile.
more secret cast at the very, very end.
Oh yeah. Barry, whatever his name.
Barry Keoghan, whatever his name.
Kyoan.
Talk about creepy.
Yeah,
sons of
like
guns,
the
man.
Paul
That guy's one
Dano.
of the creep-
Yeah, Paul Dano's protege, basically, right?
Yeah. if y'all need to watch
The new creepy
he's
young guy.
if you want to watch one of the creepiest performances of all time, watch The Killing of a Sacred Deer. That guy is creepy as F in that movie. Like it's like not cool. It's not cool how creepy he is. Like,
It's just not cool.
no, it's not. Like that movie is so sadistic. Like I really want people to watch it.
He's super creepy.
Let's do a movie night.
One thing I noticed though in the credits is that he wasn't he was credited as like Arkham unknown Arkham thing.
Yeah.
So, you know,
yeah, it'll be interesting to. I think like I like that scene, but that was like the one scene in the movie where I was like, that felt a little
Tacked on,
a little like fan servicey. Like maybe it would have changed if it was like that was like an end credit thing or something, but it just felt a little. I don't know. I liked it, but it was like, well, I probably
it went on a little long. Too.
Probably could have done without that. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see future stuff with him for sure.
Well, he's probably gonna be the villain of the next one, right? Like,
I don't know. I can't like as much as I like the Joker. I feel like there's so many other Batman villains that we haven't seen or haven't seen in a long time that I think would be more interesting in this universe. Like Matt Reeves has talked about wanting to do his take on Mr. Freeze.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Which would be really cool. Robert Pattinson has talked about let's kick some ice.
No.
All right, everybody, chill. What killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age.
Oh man!
Allow me to break the ice.
How do you just have all of these?
So many of them.
I just don't know the point of teasing, especially that actor in particular playing the Joker.
Well, I think it was enough of a tease where, like, if we don't get him in the sequel, I think that would be fine.
There's already the Penguin who could.
Penguin. He's getting his own HBO Max series, which is really cool. That I think is greenlit and starting to film soon.
There's an Arkham Asylum one, right? Too.
Arkham Asylum one. But Robert Pattinson has talked about wanting to do like the Court of Owls, which we haven't seen before in a Batman film. And I think this film sets up really well that there's always like something behind the scenes, something else going on. And that would be, I think, really cool to dive into. Batmobile.
Best Batmobile.
I think it's up there.
It's just the most like as cool as the Tumbler is. It's a tank, not a Batmobile.
Yeah.
And this is the coolest car.
Yeah.
Just because it's a
it's like
giant piece of metal with an afterburner on it.
It's at the same like it's subtle, but at the same time it's like that's clearly the Batmobile.
Oh yeah. I like the single like jet.
The reveal of it was so cool.
Yeah.
I'm gonna catch some hate for this. I think. I thought the car chase scene went on too long. Like,
I hate you.
Yeah.
How about you leave your own house?
I hate you.
Like, I liked it, but I was like one of those.
Landon, catch this. It's hate.
Stop.
I feel like Landon's the one throwing out hate here.
I thought the car chase scene was fine.
I thought it was phenomenal.
I just thought it went a little too long. Like, I thought it was really cool, but like I'm not a big car chase scene.
I love when the Penguin was like,
action
I got you. Take that, you freaking psycho.
I like that part. And then like with Flame, like, okay, I'm like, that was cool.
And then when he's walking towards the Penguin,
one of the
it's
best
upside
shots
down
ever.
And you hear the boots, and then the theme starts building.
Boom, 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 boom.
I can't believe how many times Michael's seen this movie. Actually, I can believe, but
I was gonna say
he's gonna see it.
I mean, do you know your own brother?
I mean, you
I
know,
know.
like, how many times do you think people see it before it's out of theaters?
At least 20.
well, I have to beat the record of what movie have you seen the most? Was it
I think Dark Knight Rises I saw 12 times.
more than?
So
Man
you're
of
gonna
Steel?
beat it though, right?
Man of Steel I saw 10 times.
Okay.
Outrageous, dude.
That's a lot of money too.
I'll probably see it like at least 2 more times.
Okay.
At least.
Yeah, at least 2 more times.
I'll play Super Smash Bros. At least 2 more times as well.
Oh, Nick's like, I get it now.
I'm gonna kill you. Yeah. What else about the movie haven't we talked about?
I don't know.
I think we've covered a lot.
Yeah, I think we covered pretty much everything.
What didn't you like about the movie? Nick?
This isn't what I didn't like. Batman's arc, I think, was done really well. How in the beginning he's like vengeance and only known as vengeance, and like that's what he thinks is like the right way to do it. And at the end of the film, it's kind of like he
more like hope.
realizes he needs to be also Also hope.
Yeah, it reminded me of like Superman from Man of Steel.
Don't ever compare.
No,
Like-
go ahead, Will.
No, it was like
You're done. You're done.
no. It's like
I just said it was a cool
he
point.
felt
Well, why'd you have
like
to bring up
he was
something stupid?
No. It felt like he was.
Ignore them, Will. Ignore them, Will.
It felt like he was
I hear you.
transforming into a more like Superman type rather than a Batman type, which really was interesting.
When he
I don't
broke
know.
the Riddler's neck.
Well, and that's a big part. That's a big part of. That's a big part of Batman too. Is that he's also like a hopeful character. Like that's his job for Gotham is to like be what people are striving to be like.
I guess maybe that's a flaw in the movies so far is that they haven't touched on that, especially like Batman versus Superman, where it felt like they had to make Batman the antithesis of everything Superman. It felt like so.
Even
I
though
don't
they're
know.
both fairly similar characters.
Yes.
Yeah, I like that arc a lot. I thought that was well done, and just it reminded me of the like we're just trying to help. We're just like you. What makes us different? I'm not wearing hockey pads. That whole scene from The Dark Knight. But they took that and like they made that Batman's arc in the movie.
Yeah.
And I think that that's like kind of an important thing to like look at and go after. Is he wouldn't just let that happen.
Yeah.
And he would like try to fix that for his arc. So I really, really appreciated that.
Yeah.
I think the best superhero movie.
Do we want to score it or do we just not want to score it?
10 out of 10.
Oh, okay.
9.5 out of 10.
Oh, geez.
I'll go before you, Landon, so you don't have to worry. I'd probably do like an 8.
Boo.
Okay, I was gonna say like a 7.8 or like
7.8. Too much dark.
somewhere in the 7. I have to,
Too much car.
Yeah.
Too much car.
Too much bad.
I'm gonna have to watch it again before I give like a final verdict. I think with how long the movie is, I think I need to watch it another time. But I would say my initial would be somewhere between 7.8 to 8.5. Biggest critiques being just a little too long. I would have either liked to have shaved 20 minutes off somewhere in the middle or like reworked the ending a little bit.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Cool.
But I'm super stoked for the next one. Like
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think like for starting off this new hopefully trilogy, I think it like knocked it out of the park.
yeah.
That's a home run.
Grand slam.
Felt like more like
There's nothing
Arkham.
above that, so I can't say anything else. Walk off grand slam. What?
Well, that was 2022's The Batman. Now Michael has nothing
yeah.
to look forward to.
For the next.
I can die now.
When will the next one come out? Like 3 years or so? 3 to 4 years?
I hope sooner than that.
The Batman's been in production for like 5-6 years, I think.
Well, there's a lot of other circumstances why it was delayed so many times, but hopefully sooner than that. So
Cool.
yeah, so that was our hotkeys, the Batman
Spoilercast.
spoiler talk.
Cool.
So thanks
Go
for,
see it. Go
thanks
check
for
it out.
listening,
Go check it out if
everybody.
you haven't seen it.
Let
I
us-
mean, we
let us
spoiled
know
the
what
whole
you
movie,
think.
but go check
Let
it
us know
out.
what you think.
Bye.
Bye. Goodbye.
Bye.
What?
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of the Hotkeys Podcast. You can find us on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, CastBox, YouTube, and other podcasting platforms. Visit our website, www.hotkeyspodcast.com. Follow us on Twitter at Hotkeys Podcast and join our Facebook group at facebook.com/HKHotkeys. Please like and review us and subscribe to the show on whichever platforms you use. Finally, you can contact us via email at hosts@hotkeyspodcast.com.